The Prime Minister arriving home in a hurry after hearing the last news that he wanted. His Chancellor and Health Secretary had resigned, having lost confidence in him. Prime Minister, have you got a comment about the Chancellor's resignation?
Good morning, colleagues.
This morning's Cabinet meeting. Is there any sign on the faces of Sajid Javid and of Rishi Sunak that they'd come to believe Boris Johnson was neither competent or had integrity? And at 6:02 this evening, the Health Secretary published a stinging resignation letter that said the country needs a strong and principled Conservative Party, and the party is bigger than any one individual. I served you, Prime Minister, loyally and as a friend, but we all serve the country first. When made to choose between those two loyalties, there can be only one answer. Then 9 minutes later, in his resignation statement, the Chancellor said, the public rightly expect government to be conducted properly, competently and seriously. I recognise this might be my last ministerial job, but I believe these standards are worth fighting for, and that is why I'm resigning. And they weren't the last resignations of the day. In the following 3 hours, 5 others quit from more junior government and party posts. A Health Secretary going home tonight to start a new career.
I'm just going to go and spend some time with my family. Thank you.
The symbol, perhaps, of a full-scale crisis for the Prime Minister on a day that started badly enough for him. When a former top official from the Foreign Office, Lord MacDonald, wrote to the Parliamentary Commissioner of Standards complaining that officials in 10 Downing Street and ministers hadn't been telling the truth about what the Prime Minister knew about alleged groping by his minister, Chris Pincher, when he was appointed as Deputy Chief Whip.
I know that the senior official briefed the Prime Minister in person because that official told me so at the time. I think they need to come clean.
What MacDonald alleged, correctly as it turns out, was that a number of Cabinet ministers, including Welfare Secretary Therese Coffey, had misled when saying the Prime Minister knew nothing of Pincher's misconduct. He resigned after the latest set of allegations on Thursday. Shortly after that, the Welsh Secretary played for time.
Whip and others will be looking at all of the surrounding context of this and then deciding which way to go forward.
And then Therese Coffey herself said,
the Prime Minister has not been aware of specific allegations against Chris Pincher.
Followed on Monday by Will Quince.
I've been given a cast-iron categorical assurance that the Prime Minister was not aware of any complaint.
All wrong, as the Prime Minister admitted.
Yes, I think it was a mistake, and I apologise for it. I think in hindsight it was the wrong thing to do. It was something that was only raised with me very cursorily, but I wish that we had, I in particular, had acted on it and that he had not continued in government, because he then went on, I'm afraid, to behave, as far as we can see, according to the allegations that we have, very, very badly. And I'm sorry for those who've been badly affected by it.
But Labour was unforgiving.
The Prime Minister was personally informed about these allegations, and yet he was either negligent or complicit. When will this minister stop defending the indefensible and say enough is enough?
Last week, when fresh allegations arose, the Prime Minister did not immediately recall the conversation in late 2019 about this incident. As soon as he was reminded, the Number 10 press office corrected their public lines.
Perhaps the Prime Minister's most enthusiastic ally tried to say, crisis? What crisis?
I thought the Chancellor made a very fair point in his letter when he said that his differences with the Prime Minister were simply too big. And I think we were seeing that in the tax rises that we were getting that were very much led by the Treasury. And that actually you need a Prime Minister and a Chancellor who have the same vision for the country. That's very important, it's very beneficial. And I think there were signs for some time that the relationship wasn't really working.
But a senior Tory backbencher believes it's the end for Boris Johnson.
At the end of the day, I think, unfortunately, the Prime Minister has run out of road because he has lost credibility.
For now, the Prime Minister is clinging on. He's appointed his Chief of Staff, Steve Barclay, as new Health Secretary, and here's the Education Secretary going into Number 10 to get his dream job of Chancellor. The ill wind for the Prime Minister has blown some good for Nadhim Zahawi. Robert Peston, News at 10.